散禁止。これが真実だ。最近、USAID を通じてディープステートが世界中のマスメディアを利用し、言論統制を行っていたことが明らかになりました。そこで、ウクライナ戦争の始まりについて振り返ってみましょう。ロシアによるウクライナ侵攻に関する報道は、ウクライナ寄りの一方的な見方が多かったと感じませんか？実は、コロンビア大学のジェフリー・サックス教授の発言からは、NATO の東方拡大がロシアにとって脅威を増大させたという別の視点が見えてきます。ネット上でも、これが事実ならプーチンが怒るのも無理はない、NHK で連日報道すべきだ、といった声が続々と上がっています。今回は、こうしたネットの反応を通じて、これまで報じられてこなかったもう一つの真実に迫ります。
拡散してください。これが真実です。
アキチカさんが投稿された、コロンビア大学、ジェフリー・サックス教授の動画です。
What was Putin's intention in the war? Not the propaganda that's written about this. Oh, that they failed and he was going to take over Ukraine. The idea was to keep NATO, and what is NATO? It's the United States, off of Russia's border. No more, no less. When the Soviet Union ended in 1991, and an agreement was made that NATO will not move 1 inch eastward. Now, what happened after 1991, the United States decided there would be no end to eastward enlargement of NATO. And the decision was taken formally in 1994. When President Clinton signed off on NATO enlargement to the east, all the way to Ukraine and into Georgia. So the NATO enlargement, as you know, started in 1999 with Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic. And Russia was extremely unhappy about it, but these were countries still far from the border. So the next round of NATO enlargement came in 2004. With the 3 Baltic states, Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and Slovakia. At this point, Russia was pretty damn upset. So as everybody recalls, in 2007, President Putin said, stop, enough. And of course, what that meant was in 2008, the United States jammed down Europe's throat enlargement of NATO to Ukraine and to Georgia. This is right up against Russia. And Russia protested because if Russia decided to have a military base on the Rio Grande or the Canadian border, not only would the United States freak out, we'd have war within about 10 minutes. And a month later, a war broke out. That gets Georgia destroyed. And starting in 2010, the U.S. put in Aegis missile systems in Poland and then in Romania. And Russia doesn't like that. In 2010, Viktor Yanukovych was elected on the platform of neutrality. Russia had no territorial interests or designs in Ukraine at all. What Russia was negotiating was a 25-year lease for Sevastopol naval base. That's it. Not for Crimea, not for the Donbass, nothing. In 2014, the U.S. worked actively to overthrow Yanukovych. Everybody knows the phone call by my Columbia University colleague, Victoria Nuland, and the U.S. Ambassador Peter Piot. Listen to it. It's fascinating.
I don't think Cleach should go into the government. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea. I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience, and, fuck the EU.
No, exactly. And I think we've got to do something to make...
You don't get better evidence. Then came Minsk, and especially Minsk II. It said there should be autonomy for the Russian-speaking regions in the east of Ukraine. It was supported unanimously by the UN Security Council. The United States and Ukraine decided it was not to be enforced. There were many thousands of deaths in the shelling by Ukraine in the Donbass. And one of the issues on the table in December 2021, January 2022, was, does the United States claim the right to put missile systems in Ukraine? And Blinken told Lavrov in January 2022, the United States reserves the right to put missile systems wherever it wants. So the war started. What was Putin's intention in the war? It was to force Zelensky to negotiate neutrality. And that happened within 7 days of the start of the invasion. Ukraine walked away unilaterally from a near agreement. Why? Because the United States told them to. The idea was that there would be Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Georgia that would deprive Russia of any international status by blocking the Black Sea. And the American senators, who are as nasty and cynical and corrupt as imaginable, say this is wonderful expenditure of our money because no Americans are dying. It's the pure proxy war. And since the U.S. talked the negotiators away from the table, about 1 million Ukrainians have died or been severely wounded.
ネットの反応。プロパガンダにより、洗脳されて知らなかった。
これはユダヤ系のオルブライト米国務長官が提唱した NATO 東方拡大論ですね。その秘蔵っ子がバイデン政権で国務次官だったユダヤ系のヌーランドで、ゼレンスキー政権への経済や軍事支援を西側諸国にゴリ押しでさせてましたね。
これは NHK とワイドショーで連日放送すべき動画です。国民をいつまでも騙し続けることは許されない。
諸悪の根源は米民主党という、日本に原爆を落とした奴らであるのだ。戦後80年近くなっても何も変わっていない。
これが真実なら、そりゃプーチンも切れるわな。ドンバスでロシア系ウクライナ人が、偉い目に遭ってたとか、いろいろな意味でロシアは、戦争をせざるを得なかったのかもね。
今の日本政府やマスコミはこのような事実を知ってか知らずか、戦争や煽りする政策や報道ばかり。
地図を見るとよくわかりますよね。NATO 加盟国が増え、それらは米国製の武器を使う。ウクとの国境沿いに米国製のミサイルが並ぶこと想像したら、ロとしても恐怖でしょう。韓国がミサイルを設置した時の中国、キューバ危機の米国の対応を考えても、プーチンはかなり我慢していたと思います。
結局は NATO 側がロシアの立場を守らずやりすぎたのが事の発端。やはり国際情勢というのは、片方を悪者として見てしまうと真実が見えなくなるね。